Hello, hello. I want to welcome all of you to another hour of some of the stuff that is hard to find anywhere else except here on this radio station and this radio show, the Universal Consciousness Show. And we try to entertain you, to educate you, open your mind, stretch your mind, and sometimes we just blow your mind away. And maybe we can just do some of that today too. And my name is Aage, and I'm one of the hosts, and Diana, my co-host, is over in Germany, and she is right there, right, Diana?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
All right. And then first, for those of you that want to listen to this show again, you will find us archived on our website, which is www.universal-consciousness-show.com. And of course, we are on YouTube and we are on Facebook and Twitter. So you will find us there under Universal Consciousness Show. And then we are about ready to go. I had a guest, but he just didn't make it. So we figured that Diana and I would just spend an hour talking about stuff. Some of the stuff that many of us are wondering about. So what do you think, Diana? Where should we start?
Yes, I think we are all going through a strange time, let's say like that. And it seems that as if everyone is waiting for something big to happen, and they all want to know two things. What is it, and when it will happen? And talking about that, maybe you can tell us something about Ascension, what is Ascension, and also the biggest topic that we would like to talk about, to hear about, is Mastermind. What is Mastermind? How can we connect to that? And you can push your button, Aage.
Oh man, that's gonna be a lot, and hey, we may even go beyond that. But yeah, the this event that they're calling it, that is something that there's many different explanations and theory to it. But I tell you right now, the federal government of the United States is even getting involved in warning people. This and next month is critical. They say store food, store water, and be careful with there was something in a message that the Homeland Security sent out, and they basically said store food and store water for several weeks if you can. Why? Why now? Do they know something that we don't know? Probably. But we still wonder. Because we see that the opposites are getting much more pronounced out there. We see the dark side of government, the dark side of people being more active, but also people are waking up in hordes to the fact that mankind and the world, governments, organizations, corporations are not what we have been told. It's different. And it appears to me and everybody that is studying this is that we are rising in vibration. And for us, that is in the light, so to speak, that is a good thing because we get more access to universal truth. But the ones that is holding on to resentment and power hunger and all the stuff that goes with negative vibrations, they feel the raising, but they are trying to fight it. So they get more active and they are trying to do as much damage as they can, seems like. And we are, in fact, ascending into a higher vibration. And when we speak about ascension, there is a couple of different types of ascension. In fact, there's probably 3 different kinds of ascension. One of them is that when you drop the body and die physically, you are ascending to a higher vibration. Well, we leave some residue behind, but the real you is moving on up to a higher vibration in a spiritual or a quantum existence. So I hope you're not involved in that exactly right now. I think we'll deal with the other two. They're more interesting. Let's say that one form of ascension that happens every 26,000 years is that we are moving around the great circle of the galaxy. And that is our solar system is moving around the galaxy. It takes 26,000 years to complete the circle, and every 26,000 years we are moving through a region of space or a segment that is coming out from the center of the galaxy, and that has a lot of strange vibrations in it. It raises the vibration of everything moving through that. And that is why every 26,000 years, many of us have the opportunity to raise into the higher vibration, even if we don't know it is there. So this is what actually the Christians are talking about when they talk about the rapture. They talk about people disappearing. Well, yeah, that it could be not exactly like that, but the concept they're talking about is real, because some of us will move into that higher vibration and we will no longer be in that world where we left from. What they probably don't understand, we create a new timeline and then we go on it in a different direction where we have more universal knowledge, more truth, more it's a nicer place than this ball of mud called Earth that we have created for us now. Now, Ascension also, there's another method here that is in works right now, and it's really hard to wrap our heads around it because we know the concept, we heard of the concept, but we don't really understand this ascension that we talk about. What if there is a scientific explanation on this factor? We got to lean on quantum mechanics in order to understand that. There are people that has been recorded to be in two places at the same time. And there are all kinds of stories, especially from India and the Far East, of people that have turned into a little ball of light and disappeared right in front of the eyes of the people that have seen them. There is also a movie footage that has been out there, and that came from a Swedish doctor that actually, he was in India and he witnessed one of these, and he had some pictures of it. So the concept of ascension, going to a higher vibration and taking the body with you, that is real. So let me give you something to think about, though. This will probably help to understand the concept of what we are better. Let me just set the stage first so you can better understand the question. And this, I know some of you have heard me say this before, but it is necessary for the ones that haven't heard it. And that is that for the last 300 years, we've been told that matter and energy cannot be created from nothing. But then again, we have some of the smartest people on Earth, theoretical physicists. They're saying that their equations on the blackboard using quantum mechanics formulas show that this universe was created from nothing. If everything in this universe was created from nothing, and you are in this universe created from nothing, what are you? That is something that it should ring a bell in every one of us. It seems now that there's only one thing that can do that, because you see stuff around you. And there's only one thing that can create the stuff you see around you. If we are nothing, it has to be thought. That is, intention-directed thought can create what you see around you as a holographic expression put out by the mind. And let me go a little deeper into that too, because that'll support the science behind it. I'm a hypnotist, and let's say that I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for about 10 minutes and then put you into a deep hypnotic trance. And then I told you that when you wake up, you will see an elephant standing next to you in the room. Okay, I snapped my finger and tell you to wake up. If I did my job right, you would see that elephant. You can reach out and touch the snout on that elephant. You can feel the rough skin. You can hear him breathing. You smell him. He is standing right there in the living room with you. So now, what happened to your real world there? It totally went away, because that elephant is obviously not in your living room, but you see him. You can feel him. You smell him. What is the difference between that reality of that elephant and the reality that you are looking at right now? Looking at that smartphone listening to this show, or looking at the computer listening to it, or look around the room, see that cat sitting on the chair over there. What is the difference? There really is no difference. To you, in the moment, both of these instances are equally real. So what causes this elephant to show up? Your mind created that elephant and put him right there next to your chair. And they seem so solid, so real. But they're different, and still the same thing. So how does that tie into ascension? Well, it actually does. Since everything around you is a holographic illusion, physical illusion though, it becomes apparent that nothing ascends except for the holographic illusion. Okay, the mind creates the hologram that we are existing in and walking around in every day. So the mind also creates the ascension. When you have gotten to the point where you have no need to be in the physical reality, or no need for a physical body anymore, you can just take the body with you and just leave. So everything is happening in your mind. And to ascend, you just change your mind. You alter the visual perception of reality. And what is in the mind creates that reality. So that's starting to make a little bit of sense now. So you take your body with you to a higher vibration, because that body is nothing except thought. Boy, this one is hard to wrap our heads around, but think of it this way. We also heard the concept of shape-shifting. That is somewhat the same thing. And all of these things are available to the ones that go after the spiritual advancement, spiritual education. So a combination of these things are what is happening to us. The mind behind it all is creating the conditions, because every 26,000 years we move through this region of space that has a higher vibration in it. But that is also part of the illusion that the minds have agreed to accept. So we take the body with us, move to a higher vibration out of the fourth dimension, which we are now. You know, the third dimension, that is just a box. But nothing happens in that box before you add the fourth dimension to it, which is time. And then you leave that fourth dimension and go on to the fifth dimension. That is the astral worlds. And the lower part of the astral worlds, time and space still exist. Because that's where ghosts are trapped. And you can have, I mean, everybody has seen pictures of ghosts, or you have seen ghosts, or you have felt them. They are there next to you, but you just cannot see it because it is out of the visual range of what your physical eyes can see, but they are there with you. If you were able to see into the higher vibrations, then you would see them. Now that gives us something to think about. And if you want to see ghosts, if you want to see UFOs, get your hands on a 4th generation night vision goggles and put them on, go outside at dusk or at night. You'll see those ships flying all over all the time, the round ones, the triangular ones, and the ones that is just a spot of light. And also, if you have the courage, I'm not saying you should do this because you could scare the crap out of yourself. Take these night vision goggles and go to a place, a haunted house, to the graveyard. You're going to have an experience. But think twice about it before you do, because you have to have a little strong mind to be able to do this one. Because when you see something, it may be not quite what you expect, or well, because they are there. So this ascension that we are going through, many of us will be rising into that 5th dimension. And we can even go beyond that. The 5th dimension is more or less just outside of the physical. And it has, in the lower vibrations of it, you still have time and space, but something else is also there. You have access to universal knowledge. Because in the higher vibration of the 5th dimension, because there are many levels of it, you will have access to what is called the Akashic Records possibly, or the universal consciousness that has everything there is, past, present, and future. You can lock on to that and attach it and bring it to you so you can relive experiences. And that is going to be a totally different world for us when we arrive at that place. And I'm saying the place physically because in the 4th dimensional world right here, we have time and space, which create place. Outside of that, we also have time and space in the lower vibrations of the astral worlds. But we can also accelerate ourselves. Once we figure out that we don't have to be here or even in the 5th dimension anymore, we will move on to the higher ones. So, have I totally confused you by now, Diana?
Well, I don't know, but I still have a question popping up in my mind.
Yeah?
What is the difference between the past and the future, except for the obvious?
Well, in the physical, we are thinking of the past as a locked down record of happenings. And the present we understand very well, because the present, even in the physical, is all there is. We can only theorize and hope for the future if we remain in the physical. So outside of the physical, the past and the present and the future is sitting in that soup of creation where everything is. And you can access this by thinking yourself into it. You match your vibration. Let's say you had an event in the past here that you want to relive that event and go through it and have a look at it again. You think of that event. You go into the soup of creation, just look into it, and you attach that thought that is placed into that soup of creation. You attach yourself through it and pull it out, and you surround yourself with it, and you are then reliving that event. Now, astral travelers, they can do that. So this is also something that can be learned. And that is an interesting thing when we speak about meditation and astral travel. I'm going to shortly here, we're going to be starting a meditation class, and we're going to teach those things. So stay in touch with me, go to my website and on Facebook, and we'll have some information when we start on it, because this is going to be interesting. So I don't know if that kind of explained the difference between the past and the future, but I think it got close.
Right. But as I was listening to you before, when you speak about that we all create in our mind, it's something that scares me, because actually the thinking process brought us to what we are today, and for sure we are not the manifestation of our essence, but we are the manifestation of our thoughts, and look where we are.
Yeah.
So how can we control, how can we change that?
Well, that is again by intention-directed thought. And intention is such a... We understand the term, we think, but we don't understand it, what it really is.
No.
Because intention, that is knowing what you want. Going into what you want, concentrate on it with emotion, gratitude for knowing you already have it, love, and intention. When you focus on it and you know you already have it, that is an intention of receiving. So we got to put emotion and vivid, colorful pictures into this. Then it becomes not just a thought of intention anymore, but it becomes an energy. And that energy is something that is well explained in when you create a mastermind. And I know you wanted to maybe talk a little bit about that mastermind, Diana, and let's do that, because we got another 5 minutes here before we have to take a break. Mm-hmm. We have actually been part of starting a mastermind group here, and we are trying to do some really neat things. And to give you an example of what masterminds can do, and that is that last fall there was a hurricane coming over from Africa. Well, on the Atlantic, they all come from Africa. And they were heading up the coast of Cuba. It was going to head for southern Florida. It was a category 4 or a 5. I'm not sure which one it was when it was traveling right by Cuba. And they had tremendous damage down there. And it was heading for Florida. I think it was a category 4. And because the hurricane was moving over warm, moist water, it was expected to increase to a category 5. So they evacuated southern Florida, and they were expecting to just ravage the whole place. But the listeners of Coast to Coast Radio, they got together. George Norrie, he told them, let's all visualize this hurricane fizzling out and heading out to sea. And we all did that. And you know, it's only 90 miles from Cuba to Florida, but in 90 miles, that hurricane collapsed from a 4 down to a storm of 50-mile-an-hour winds hitting Florida. Theoretically, that should not have happened, but it did. So we know what this mastermind group can do when we put our minds together, because people out there are hurting, and there may be some health challenges, money challenges, foreclosures, all kinds of stuff out there. But there is, if you join with other people and create a stronger energy in that mastermind, you can actually change things. Of course, we got to also do what we know to do to help it happen. And so why does this happen like that? Some of us actually, if we actually go for why, we may not even like the answer. But let me turn totally esoteric on you. You see, quantum physics has found that this artificially created universe that I mentioned before is directed and controlled by the mind. See, in all of the universes, and there are more than one universe, quantum physics has proven that even religion is even, they know that there are more than one universe. The Christians, they want to go to heaven, and you know, or the other place, you know, the one downstairs next to the furnace. And we have different universes that go from different timelines. If we get together and create a mind that has a power of what we're talking about, that would happen to that hurricane coming up from Cuba, we create a different timeline. Chances are in another timeline, that hurricane hit Cuba and wiped everything out. But it is not in our timeline because we change it by the way we think. And this intelligence behind it all, what you see, that is the universal mind, because it's the only mind there is. That is the creative force of that universal mind, or God, if you will. It's the same thing. And we are part of that mind as a whole, as one. But we have blocked that understanding of this in the way we think and what we do every day because of the way our mind is running 90 miles an hour. And it blocks information from coming from that universal mind all the way up to conscious understanding. We need to empty our mind out and leave us open for impressions to come from that universal mind. And this is where the place where we can put the mastermind. We empty our mind out, so we have the channel. Then we think of something that we want to have happen. We create that intention field with emotion, vivid, colorful pictures, gratitude for already having it happen, love, and we place that into that void that goes all the way back into that universal mind. It roams around in there and finds something that it matches vibration with, and then you can pull that back into the physical, and it becomes reality, or part of your reality that what you are existing in, or what we think we are living. So this can be done. And oh boy, we are at the bottom of the hour, so let's go to a 3 to 4 minute break, and then we will be right back talking about the mysteries of the universe and the mastermind, and I'm going to cover a few things on out-of-body experiences and several other things. So yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthemidlands.com.
To the believer, the evidence is overwhelming.
To the skeptic, there will never be enough.
Hello everyone, this is Kevin Malik.
And this is Jennifer Chelsea Malik.
And we're your hosts, Paraversal Universe, live every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Grand Meridian in the UK.
And Saturday mornings in Australia, here on the Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network.
We invite you to join us as we check out the mysteries found within the 8 categories of the unknown and unexplained.
Join us as we interview the top minds in the prospective fields as they share theories and information regarding these unsolved mysteries.
Brought to you by the Northern Wisconsin Paranormal Society Limited.
So for excellent talk radio, check out Paraversal Universe, where all paranormal perspectives apply, Fridays on LNM.
Tired of the third dimension? Then tune into The Empowered Lightworker as we look at the incredible changes happening on this planet now. I'm author and channeler Caroline Oceana Ryan. Join me as I speak with authors, musicians, psychics, shamans, ET experiencers, people with insights that take us out of the illusions of everyday life and into new dimensions. Join us for The Empowered Lightworker, Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. You're on LNMRadioNetwork.com in Studio B.
This is a warning, and it might be the only one that you get. For those who don't mind leaving the world unchanged, this is not for you. But for those who want something more, for those who wonder what it feels like to make a difference, this warning is for you. There is a profession where you work with the most volatile, explosive medium known to man. A career where challenging the status quo is part of your daily to-do list. A line of work where you lead those you love to struggle, fight, and conquer. The future hangs in the balance. You will wage war on things like doubt and I don't get it with a relentless arsenal of yes you can. And consequentially, you will start raging fires of ambition that can never be extinguished. Also, I should warn you, your identity will be compromised and you will be known forever by those whose lives you change. So consider yourself warned. Should you take this on, you will leave a legacy, you will change the future, and you will feel what it's like to make more. Okay, class, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Put your hands up if you're paying attention. Okay, now, we're gonna go over where we stopped last week. We're gonna go
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
LNM Radio Network, shining the light of truth 24 hours a day.
Hello, we are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and Diana is sitting here all by herself. And we're just talking about some interesting stuff. We are a mastermind group we're talking about. And let me summarize a little bit on that mastermind. It is really very simple. Whatever you have in your mind that is most dominant, strongly thinking about, that is most likely what you're going to have in your life. And you can change the way you think. You can direct it in a different direction. And if you join with other people, it is a stronger, more effective way to do it than by yourself. Here's an example for you. Let's say that the definition of the mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind that has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. So let's say that we get 1,000 people together in a mastermind group, and we concentrate on one thing that we want to do. That could be anything from, I don't care, stopping a tornado or directing a tornado throughout somewhere where it doesn't hurt anything, or help curing somebody's cancer. If you have 1,000 people, that means 1,000 times 1,000. Now you have the energy of mind power of 1,000,000 people going in that direction. Remember? Intention is not just a thought, it's an energy. Now you have the energy of those 1,000,000 people. If we had 100,000 people, that is the mind power of 10 billion minds. How can we go wrong with something like that? And on top of that, it helps to be doing it at the same time, right? Well, maybe not necessary, because everyone listening to this particular show in the future, they could join in at the present now. Because remember, outside of the physical, in the higher vibrations, where the request for what we want to have happen goes, time and space is not like we know it here. And that doesn't matter. If it's 20 years from now, you hear this show, you can join in on something that we may concentrate on today. And it will work towards the effect of what we are asking for today. That's a tough one to, again, wrap our heads around. But let's say we are going to do something on health. Let's say that we know, because of pharmaceutical companies and government spraying of chemtrails and all the crap that we're going through, we are sick as a nation. I'm probably one of the healthiest people I know because I've never been sick. But you can always become sick if we don't watch ourselves the way we think. Let's concentrate on people. See people around you. Tell yourself they're all healthy. See them smiling. Create vivid, colorful pictures around you of smiling people that are healthy. Know they're healthy. And however many listens to this in the future, put gratitude for knowing they're healthy. Put love into it. You love those people. We have colorful pictures of seeing them walking around smiling. And we turn emotional about what we see in our mind. Now we create that intention field, and that hits all those people as multitudes or ones. And if we listen to this show sometime in the future, take the time to visualize it. This can be done for everybody out there. It could be done in a family. It could be a church group. It could be as a nation. You know how that worked in the last presidential election. People were sick of the corruption, so they got somebody that is uncorruptible in there. So now we have a different view of how we can create the future. And this goes, gosh, I tell you, Diana, there's so much to say about this. I don't know how far we're going to go. We got 10 minutes left. What do you think?
I know. It's very hard to select the ideas, but still I have something very important to say according to your idea about the health. And as you said, that the mastermind group can also concentrate in order to heal a cancer. I remember that I saw on internet, and maybe everybody saw it, it could be accessed on internet, a video that Greg Braden always shows in his conferences about a woman that had a tumor, and she's coming from the West Medicine, and she had no chance. The allopathic doctors, they gave her no chance for healing. She went in a clinic in Japan, I think, and there were 8 doctors. They were trained to heal with mind. And they were around the woman, and you can see live, you can see the tumor live in computer, and they start to think, all 8 doctors, and they say also in a certain rhythm, the tumor was healed, or something like that. The tumor disappeared, and you can see in real time within 1.5 minutes that the tumor is disappearing.
Yes, I think I heard about that incident. It's a phenomenal testament to the power of the mind.
Yes.
There is another video that is out there on the internet also, and that is by, I think there was 4 or 5 Qigong masters. This was in China, and they had somebody that had a cancerous tumor inside the body, and on the split screen we were watching the picture of the tumor almost as big as your fist.
Yes.
A small fist. And on the right side, you could see in live what the tumor was doing. And they were standing around for 3.5 minutes chanting in Chinese, of course, but they said, "You're healed, it is done. You're healed, it is done."
Mm-hmm.
And we could see on the screen that tumor shrinking down to nothing in 3.5 minutes.
Yes.
Do you remember that video, Diana?
Yes, I saw it. I saw a lot of stuff like that, and also a kid that healed a tumor in his brain by playing a game, and he imagined that with this game, the PC game that the kids are playing, he visualized that he is shutting his tumor and he is destroying his tumor, and within, I don't remember, within few weeks, the tumor was, it was transformed in a tiny, tiny pearl, and the kid was healed. This is an extra, and then they made a film about this story. This is a real story. This is a very, very, a film that touched my heart.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That was a brilliant kid.
Yes. But he was trained from a doctor to do that.
Yeah. Well, because of things like this, that's why we want everybody to join us in this mastermind group. And you can, go to our YouTube channel. You'll find it there. We're going to do some things. Give it about a week or two, and we'll have some good information out there for you. And also on our website, of course, www.universal-consciousness-show.com. And this is something that is not just for big things like this. We could do it as a family. Let's say a family of 4 sitting around the table, all deciding what they want to have happen. Let's say they need a new house or a new car, or just need better cohesiveness among the family. Get along better, possibly. So what they visualize what they want, and they go through this process that I mentioned before, and you place that into the universal consciousness and you start pulling it back. And now it's only up to that family to do everything they can do to help it happen. So you got to pull on the string coming out of the universal consciousness. Pulling on the string, that means if you need a new house, you go looking for houses. Look in the newspaper. And there is a big difference between renting a home and buying one. Buying one is a lot cheaper than renting one. Also, rent to own. See, these are the things you got to start looking into if you need a new home. And if you need a new car, go test drive one, because this is very possible to do. And,
yes, but I think when we really wish to have something, we should not use the word "I want to buy a car" or
right.
"I want to buy something," because we will lose all the possibility that there are in the quantum field for us. So we should say, "I want to have my house."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how. So the universe, it will provide you with the right solution. Don't say it, "I want to buy," because to buy you need money.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep, slip of the tongue on my part there, and I do that quite often. So yeah, I am glad you caught that. Because if you say buy a car, that means you're going to buy it. What if somebody gave you one? If you say buy a car, we put restrictions on the universe.
Yes.
It can't give you one. So yeah, win one in the lottery. Go to the mall and you got a car dealer sitting there with his car that he is giving away on the lottery. Take the ticket and you see, if you say buying it, chances are that would not work, because you put restrictions on how to receive.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't find the word in English.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And also, there is, when we start this mastermind group, we're going to do some, we're going to do, we're going to do sessions. So it'll be ongoing, and that will be on, you can go and later on, you can see them on www.broadcastteamalpha.com. They will be posted there, live sessions which you can participate in. So this is something that think about it, because get some more information on it, because this is going to be good. We're going to do some really Really good things here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about some other things, but I see we are drawn towards the close here. I wanted to talk a little bit about out-of-body experiences and Astro Travel. And when we start this shortly here, when we start this meditation class, we're going to be dealing with that. And there's out-of-body experiences can be taught. You can learn that. There is a method to it. And it is not that hard to learn. It's at least a method. You need some practice. Some people catch on like ducks to water with it. And have you noticed ducks never drown? Think about that. It isn't that hard to do, but you need some practice. So, and also how to, in meditation, let me go back a little bit. When I started learning transcendental meditation back, I think I was about 17, 18 years old, something like that. A neighbor kid back in Norway, Steinar, he came and he said, hey, I'm going into town. We are going to do some meditations. And I said, oh, okay. I was busy. I didn't want to go. But he didn't take no finances, so I went with him. And we sitting in a classroom where there was probably 100 people there, and they told us how to meditate. What they told us was that close your eyes, think about nothing, like that's easy, and then whatever happens is good. Okay, that's what I did. I, at the time, wasn't really good at emptying my mind out, but I did. And of course, I practiced meditation for a long time until I found out that when you get in a car, it helps to know where you're going. If you get in the back of a taxi cab and say, okay, let's go, next thing the cabbie is going to ask you, where are we going? I figured it out that it's the same thing with meditation. Yeah, whatever happens, if you don't want anything, is good. That is true. But if you also meditate on something that you do want to happen, that can be good too. So we're going to deal with both of those when we start this class, and it's going to be interesting. So stay with us, and we'll talk about this later. And I think we're down to the end of the show here. So I think until next week, Diana, we should call it quits for now, and then we'll be back.
Okay, thank you.